So we have another really interesting poll result today. So the question was, if you were soloing Corp, which drop would you rather get? Would you rather get the Elysian Sigil, which is about 550 mil GP, or would you rather get the Pet Corp or the Pet Dark Core, which are interchangeable, you can change them anytime? We got over 700 votes, so a very good sample size, and about 70% of people said they would rather get the Sigil, and 30% of people said they would get the Pet. This is kind of surprising. I would personally get the Pet because Elysian Sigil, 550 mil GP, yeah, that's a ton of money in this game, and that would really change the game for many people, including myself. But you can make that money over time by yourself doing any boss, whereas the Pet Dark Core, that's a 1 in 5,000 drop. You could spend years trying to go for that drop, and you might never get it. So it's kind of a question of what do you prioritize, the guaranteed GP in the short term, or the kind of super rare drop that you might never get, and this is the only opportunity you're ever going to have. So some people made some interesting points, like I'd rather get the Sigil. Once you have the boss pet, you can easily lose motivation to continue the grind. That's true. For example, Saradomin, I don't usually kill anymore because I already have that pet, whereas I actually really like doing that boss. And other people saying things, well, you could lose that money, you could stake it away, but if you have the pet and you insure it, you'll have that forever. So it's kind of an interesting discussion. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey guys, it's AndrewAJT, and today we're back with a new video. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 capes in Old School RuneScape. Now we're going to be using all sorts of factors to weight in which cape is the best and which are on the list, including the style, the prestige of the cape, the usefulness of the cape, the stats of the cape, and this is kind of an interesting list. I thought of this idea, then I'm like, well, it's going to be hard to find 10 capes to really put on this list, and then I was making the list and I'm like, wow, there's so many capes I'm going to have to leave off this list because they're really deserving. RuneScape does really have a lot of interesting capes that are very effective. So let's go over them now. Before we get started, make sure you guys leave a like. That's the best way to support the channel, and it really helps out the video with the YouTube algorithm. I definitely want to get this out to as many people as possible. So starting off the list at number 10 is the Fire Cape. The Fire Cape is probably the most iconic cape in RuneScape history, and it probably always will be. However, it's the only cape on this list that's not actually the best cape at anything. All of its stats are beaten out by other capes on this list, and there's no other effects to the Fire Cape. It doesn't have any teleports on it or special effects really, but it really deserves a spot on this list just for the iconic factor. It's the first cape to have an animated texture, which is very cool as well, and it's just a huge accomplishment for many players to get. The satisfaction from getting your first Fire Cape and finally conquering Jad is one of the best feelings you can get in the game. I got my first Fire Cape in 2008. It took me 5 tries on Jad, but eventually I persevered, and it was just a really monumental part of my RuneScape career, even though it's something that most RuneScape players do get over time, and it is something that's a little bit easier to get now with the easier gear. Number 9 on this list is a very good cape. This is a reward from completing Dragon Slayer 2. It is the Mythical Cape. One of the greatest things about this cape is you can buy really as many as you want. They are actually 10,000 coins, which is not extremely cheap, but they're quite cheap. And the stats on this cape are amazing because it gives 6 crush bonus, which is very high. This is the best in slot crush cape in the game. This is extremely useful for things like Verax, which is very good in the wilderness. You can use this against Callisto, Venenatus, bosses like this. It's good against Corp. It has very good defense as well, almost as good as the skill cape. It gives a little bit of prayer and melee strength as well. And it also has an unlimited teleport to the Mythical Guild right here, Myth Guild, and there's actually a lot of useful things in this guild. There's a rune ore in here, there's dragons. So overall, this is a very nice cape. There's a nice feature to it with the teleport, and the crush stat is very helpful as well. Number 8 on this list belongs to the Construction Cape, which is a very helpful cape which I do not yet own. The stats on this cape are the same as any skill cape. You have the 9 defensive bonuses to everything and the 4 prayer, which is decent, but these stats are kind of not that amazing in 2019. But the greatest thing about the Construction Cape is it acts as an infinite teleport to your house. So anytime you want to go to your house, you can right click it and teleport right there. And this is very nice because it's extremely convenient, and it actually saves you a lot of GP. So it's an easy thing to go through thousands of teleport to house tabs, and these can add up over time. Every time you use 1,000 of them, it costs almost 500k. But the Construction Cape is infinite teleport to house, so even though 99 construction costs a lot of GP, the cape can actually save you some of that money back in the long run. Number 7 on the list is a Cape of Accomplishment, but this one does not require a 99. This is the Quest Cape, and it requires all quests to be completed. The stats on the Quest Cape are really not that good. It just has the standard +9 to all defense, and if you complete all the achievement diaries, you can get the +4 prayer bonus as well. The main reason people really like this cape is because if you use the teleport option, it brings you appropriately to the Legends Guild, and the great thing about this is it's extremely close to a fairy ring right here. And this is one of the closest teleports to a fairy ring in the whole game, so if you're doing anything that requires extensive use of fairy rings, which are one of the best transportation methods in the game, this cape is extremely helpful to have. The only thing you have to make sure is whenever a new quest comes out, you have to do the new quest before you can use the cape again. Number 6 on the list is an excellent cape. This is the Ardouge Cape 4, or all the other Ardouge capes as well, and Ardouge is the correct way to pronounce Ardy, by the way. So the great thing about this cape, and probably the main benefit, is the huge stab bonus +6 that is best in slot. It also gives a pretty good magic bonus and a very good prayer bonus as well, +6, which is also best in slot. That beats out the skill cape +4. And there are other benefits to this cape as well. So the stab bonus means that anything you're going to be killing with stab is going to be amplified. For example, if you want to use the Zamihesta, that's very good as well to combine with it. Another great thing about this cape is it's completely free once you complete the Ardouge diary. You can get as many as you want. I think I have like 30 of them in the bank, so these are very, very good to use in the wilderness. It's probably the best cape you can use in the wilderness because of the all-around stats. It also, if that wasn't enough, has really good teleports, so the monastery, which even the easy cape offers, is a pretty good place. There's not really other teleports to this location. And if you're doing some farming, you can go to the Ardouge farm, and with the Elite Cloak, the teleports here are unlimited. There is no limit to how many you can use per day. The 5th cape on our list is an extremely good cape. This is the Crafting Cape, which might seem odd. You might not know why this cape is so good, but it's actually one of the best investments you can make in this game, despite 99 crafting being a very expensive skill. So the only thing this cape does is it lets you teleport to the Crafting Guild, which doesn't seem that interesting. I mean, there's almost nothing to do here. This is not really a good place to go for many things. You know, these shops don't really have anything interesting. But the thing about this cape is it always teleports you to this square, which is right here. You'll always be in this square. And the thing is, this is the closest teleport to a bank in the whole game. So you can always just go over here and click on the bank. So like, no matter what you're doing in game, you can always right-click teleport on the Crafting Cape, and boom, you're right here, you're right next to a bank, and this is just so convenient. So anything you're doing in game that requires banking regularly, like let's say you're doing Corp, and you do your Corp trip, and you go use the pool, and then you go back with the games necklace to Corp, you can always bank extremely quickly with the Crafting Cape, and this is just such an amazing thing. It's good for clue scrolls, it's good for Slayer. It's so nice to have that quick access to a bank at any time. Coming in at number 4 on the list is the Mage Arena 2 capes, all 3 of them, the Saradomin, Zamrak, and Guthix ones. So these are a major improvement over the normal God capes. The normal God capes give +10 magic and +10 magic defense, which is pretty good, but if you look at the God capes, they blow them out of the water as far as the imbued ones go. You can get these from the Mage Arena 2 mini quest, which is a little bit difficult for lower levels, and they give +15 to both magic stats as well as 2% magic damage, which is a very nice bonus. The only downside is if you lose these, it takes a little bit of time to get them back, so you don't always want to risk them over the normal God Cape. But for a best in slot item, the stats on these are very, very good. The 3rd best cape on our list is actually not a cape at all. This is the Ava's Assembler. You can get this cape by killing Vorkrath after completing the Dragon Slayer 2 quest. If you get a Vorkrath head, you can bring it to Ava and upgrade your Ava's accumulator. And this is actually a very nice item. Not only does it have more range bonus than the Ava's accumulator, it also has range strength, which is kind of unique for the cape slot. And it also picks up all of your ammo that does not break upon impact, making it easily the best option for range. The main downside is it lacks the prayer bonus that the range cape has, which can be needed in some situations. Moving on to the top 2, the 2nd best cape in Old School RuneScape is the Infernal Cape. Some would argue it's the best cape in Old School RuneScape. This cape is extremely hard to obtain. To get one, you need to beat the Inferno and Zuck, which is considered the hardest challenge in the entire game. But if you can do it, you can obtain the most beast cape in any game ever. Not only does it look amazing with that lava animation, it also has the best stats for any melee cape in the game. It has by far the best defensive stats of any cape in the game, plus 12 to everything. It also gives 8 strength, which is really insane. It gives plus 4 to all the attack bonuses for the melees, which are very, very good, making it very versatile. It even gives some mage and range bonus and some prayer. It has the best overall equipment stats for any cape in the entire game. The number one cape on Old School RuneScape is the Max Cape, which requires 99 in every single skill, which is why this video took such a long time to make. This cape has almost unlimited features. It has more teleports than any other cape by far. Teleports to your house, like the construction cape. It basically has all of the skill cape perks combined into one, which there are many of them. So we have a lot of teleports. We also have the spellbook swap. We have some other features here. We have the Holy Wrench built in from the prayer cape, which means that you're always going to get more prayer points from potions. We have the HP restoration cape built in, so you get the unlimited rapid heal built in. You get a stamina pot dose every day, and it also gives negative weight. The stats are the same as the normal skill cape trimmed, including the -4 weight as well, which aren't the greatest, but the other combat perks, such as the stamina, the prayer, the HP, more than make up for it, and this is just the number one utility cape. It really does it all. So those are the top 10 capes in Old School RuneScape. Again, this was a pretty tough list to make. It was hard to order these, and it was also hard to leave certain ones out, such as the Achievement Diary cape. Didn't get a spot on this list, which may shock some of you. But leave your thoughts in the comments. This is just my opinion. Do you think the list is different if you were to make it? What would your list look like? Also, speaking of the Max Cape, do you think we should ever get the Completionist Cape in Old School RuneScape? That would be like an upgraded Max Cape that would require certain things as well, like mini-game accomplishments and other things like that. Do you think it would be appropriate to have that cape in Old School, or do you think the Max Cape is good enough? So thank you all so much for watching. You guys are the best ever. Hope you guys enjoyed this top 10. If you want to check out some more top 10s, I'll put my playlist for all of them in the end screen and also in the description. Definitely be sure to leave a like if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. You can also click the bell to get notifications whenever I upload, which is typically every Tuesday afternoon. You're also invited to join our clan chat, AndrewAJT62, that'll be up on screen. Just our general PvM, PvP, hangout type of clan chat. Anyone's welcome. Even if you can't join the clan chat, you can join the Discord, link down below. We have over 600 members there now, talking about RuneScape all the time. You can also feel free to share any pictures of your loots or pet drops in the Discord. I always love to see that. Lastly, you can follow me on Twitter down below for updates. I'll follow you back if you play RS. You can also follow me on Twitch down below for occasional bossing live streams. And if you're really feeling generous, you can optionally support the channel on Patreon with the link in the end screen. You can also leave suggestions in the comments or message me about ideas for Patreon rewards. I'm always open to hearing those. Thank you all again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.